So, if you are going on a cruise, this is the information that you need. We've just got off the Independence of the Seas. We went for 4 days. It was absolutely amazing. So I'm going to run through a few bits that we did before and that we did on the ship to hopefully make your trip a bit easier. So first of all, checking in. So make sure that you download the app. And then on the app, you will be able to see your check-in time. So you'll be able to check in, you put all your passport stuff in, put the information of people who are going, and then you can choose a time that you can board the ship. So then that is your check-in time. You can check in after that point, but ideally not before the point. And then when you get there, we had paid for parking, which was right next to the port. We literally opened up our boot and they came straight in and they took our luggage for us, which was fabulous. And then they drop it off at your room later on. The one thing I would say is make sure that you have anything you need for the day. So we obviously had our passports and our sea passes, and we had our towels and sun stuff, so like sun cream, hats, swimming costumes, all that kind of stuff. It makes it a lot easier so you don't need to worry about your bags. When you arrive, you go through, it's quite easy, it's all signposted, really easy, the port. And then all you need to do is have your sea passes, which you would have downloaded from when you've checked in, and your passport. And then that's it, you are off the ship. They check them a few times as you're getting on. But then once you come on, you just step onto the ship and it's absolutely amazing. So we went straight into lunch because we were on about 11 o'clock and our rooms weren't ready till about 1 o'clock. So once we'd had lunch and we wandered around for a little bit, they then announced over the tannoy that our bedrooms were ready. So we went and got into our room, had a look around, and yeah, it was an absolutely beautiful room, exactly what we asked for. From there, we then went and got some sun lounges and just chilled out by the pool. There was, even though we had lunch, there was like fish and chips, there's pizza, there's ice cream, there's loads of things open 24/7, especially as soon as you get on, most things are open. We then set sail about 5 o'clock, so there was a little ABBA party because we were a Eurovision cruise. So once we'd set sail, then the main shops start opening up because a lot of them are duty free. So as soon as you're on the water, they can open up. When they're back at the port, they close again. The first night we went to go and see an ice skating show, which was absolutely fabulous. We got dressed up. We also had dinner. So if you book your holiday through someone like me who's a travel agent, you then choose, when I'm booking, you choose what time you wanted to eat, and we wanted to eat about 8 o'clock. So we all got dressed up and went for our food. And then we watched the ice skating show, and then we kind of just had a look around and just chilled out, and it was just absolutely lovely. Second day, got up. It was a sea day for us, so the shops are open. We went and grabbed some towels and we just chilled out, and we had breakfast, we had fish and chips, and ice cream, everything, as I said, everything's all included and open again. That evening we chose not to go to the main dining. We went to the buffet because you can see the food. When you go to your main dining, you can see for the next day, and the next day didn't quite suit us with allergies and all that kind of stuff, so we just went into the buffet. If you have a child or an adult with any allergies, we actually went up to one of the chefs and said, have you got any dairy-free puddings? And they went out and made some. He came back to our table and found us. Absolutely just like amazing service. And because then they knew that she was on board, they then had them for lunch for the next couple of days, and then we went and asked them if they had any for tea because we weren't at main dining, and they went and prepared her some again, which was absolutely brilliant. On the last day, it was a sail day, so everybody was at port and everybody was off, so the boat was moored up, and yeah, that was it. Everybody was off the ship, and it was just absolutely brilliant. It was a much quieter day. We're quite pleased we didn't get off. We had a private cabana which came with they brought over our towels, they brought us over alcoholic beverages, they brought us over we had this big bucket full of ice, so we had loads of cold drinks that they kept topping up. They even went and said, do you want fish and chips? We're going to get you some lunch. That day we did the flow rider, so check out my video on that because that was me, horrendous. My husband and daughter did it, absolutely brilliant. Me, not so much. And then from there, we obviously set sail back in the evening once everybody was back on board. And we headed home back to Portsmouth, Southampton, beg your pardon. And then the next day we were up early board. The one thing I would say about the day that you leave the ship, everybody wants breakfast before you go. So the earlier you get up, the better. Because as soon as they say you can start leaving, people just are just rushing because they want to get out. You can stay on for longer and pay extra, but then that's down to you. So yeah, if you have any questions, if you are off on a cruise anytime soon, let me know. There's a few extra bits I would say. If your child is under 18, then in the evenings, they can't go in the casino. They can walk through it and round, but they can't hang around at any of the tables. And pizza at 1 o'clock is a must, and so is the ice cream all day, every day. So yeah, feel free to message any questions if you have a cruise coming up.